let's chat a little bit about Angel City versus Gotham FC. This one in Los Angeles. We talked about it in the preview, Lisa. We said East Coast versus West Coast. We're gonna get some fireworks. It's gonna be, the after dark energy that hopefully we'll get to continue to see throughout this season. Kicked off at 9 p.m. Eastern on Paramount Plus, and this one ended 2-1. Gotham bagging all 3 points on the road. You could just hear the flusters of boos raining down at the final whistle in this one, because everything in this first half of the game sort of felt like things were clicking and going in Angel City's favor. And then Gotham completely flipped the script on this home opener for Angel City. 2-1. Alyssa Thompson making a bit of history with a goal in the 12th minute. A penalty kick awarded to Gotham FC in the second half. Purse converting that. And Lynn Williams, the great Lynn Williams, getting the game winner ultimately in this one.
This game was everything. It had a lot going for it. It was fast paced. We got to see familiar faces that we hadn't seen in a long time. Kelly O'Hara, Lynn Williams, Allie Long in the midfield for Gotham. Really fun to kind of see this all play out. Abby Smith in goal. This is a goalkeeper that spent time in Portland and really didn't see much time on the field, but won the championship with them last year and now got her first start at Gotham in between the sticks with Angel City. Hello, we got to see Sarah Gordon in the back line, Alyssa Thompson up top. There was so many things to take away from this game. One of those being that I got the pick right. I had Gotham getting this win.
Run down.
But honestly, the way this match started with it was very back and forth. And then in the opening 12 minutes, in the 11th minute, Alyssa Thompson with a rocket and a bullet of a shot. I was like, let's go. If a teenager can do this while she's got to prepare for high school tomorrow morning and knock down this goal, I want Angel City to take this all the way. You could see that BMO Stadium was just shaking and rocking along with that Alyssa Thompson goal. There ends up being another opportunity from June Endo just a few moments later. She scores a worldie of a goal. Such a clever little goal. She picks up the ball and enters just over the halfway line, sees that Abby Smith, the Gotham goalkeeper, is out of position a little bit and just chips the keeper. And I'm talking chips the keeper from like 60 yards. It was beautiful. But we get a little VAR action in this one, Sandra. We get some VAR. It was opening weekend. We knew we were going to get VAR, and we get it on this, and June Endo's goal is called back.
Crushed. I first of all, again, we're talking about a 12-minute goal, from Thompson for Angel City, and then you've got June Endo delivering this just, minutes after that, and you're just like, yes, all things are clicking here. Let's go. And then they take a look at this goal sequence. I mean, full on take a look at it. Like we see the center official say, "Hold on a second, gotta head on over to this fancy little new box that we see at all the arenas and at all the games now." And some confusion, I think, about like what exactly were the indicating factors, like in terms of the fouls or movement, before the goal actually took place. And ultimately the goal was disallowed due to a foul prior to the goal. So I guess the reason that was the reason,
like pretty close to when Endo took her shot, though. So we're not talking like minutes before.
We're talking like fractions of a second. And so I think that was the reason to sort of, VAR was like, you might want to take a look at this. And so sure enough, the center official did, and there was enough there apparently to
it ends up being Danny Weatherholt of Angel City and Kelly O'Hara going in hard for a tackle, and Weatherholt just gets a little too much of O'Hara's cleat, I guess, her foot. And so O'Hara falls down. I mean, it was pretty devastating to watch. Just my heart broke for June Endo. She was so happy, and then to take away that goal and now,
Tough.
I mean, hindsight 2020 to know that Angel City loses this match 2-1,
Yeah.
and that could have been a difference maker in this game early on when that initial goal happened, because it wasn't until late in the second half that Gotham really started to put a lot of great pieces together. I mean, we knew it was going to come for this Gotham side. You and I had
Mhm.
talked about it, about all the offseason acquisitions and what this New Jersey, New York team has done. Even head coach Juan Carlos Amaros bringing in these certain pieces. But when was it all going to come together? And I think we started to see that taking place in the second half for this Gotham side. And ultimately, they get one back, and then they get another one within 10 minutes of that. And that it was pretty quick. 55th minute,
Listen,
65th minute, and on a penalty kick as well. We had a handful of penalty kicks this weekend.
I think that we're going to talk about all the games, but so when we get there, this will make more sense. But I'm just saying that I feel like the West Coast games sort of gave us everything that I think you
Yeah.
could have wanted. I think within a game. Whether it was VAR checks or penalties or multiple yellow cards, et cetera, et cetera. And it's sort of delivered, I think, in terms of the promise of being an exciting match for fans, neutral and hardcore, to kind of take a look at. But kudos to Gotham. I said, just picking up this win. I think they knew going into Los Angeles that this might be a difficult environment to play in. And part of that game plan was probably to ensure that they sustained or contained Angel City as much as possible, and it just looked like that game plan was going to get wrecked with that early goal from Thompson, and then this follow up
Yeah.
from Endo. But we saw, like, towards the later stages of that first half,
Early in this game, Ali Krieger goes down with an
you
injury.
know what? Yeah,
That
these are
was like
all these are all things that are like things are going
that
bad
was
for
the
Gotham.
opening 10 minutes of the game for Gotham, and that's when we see the rookie Jenna Nightswanger come in, and we're like, "Where is she gonna
Where is she
play?"
gonna play? Yeah. Well, no,
She
well,
is
it's
not a
important to
defender.
know.
Where is she playing?
No, it's important to note that because it's like she slots in, and then we see, Kelly O'Hara get, kind of have to slot in and move a little higher at times up the pitch. But I think, for the first goal and then the second that second disallowed goal, I think you look at somebody like an Abby Smith, right, who gets tasked with this start and goal for Gotham FC, and this was the goalkeeper that they went out and they got in
Mhm.
free agency over the course of the off season. So it shouldn't be too shocking or surprising to see that this is the goalkeeper that they are looking to be their starter for this season. And just sort of coming up with some of the bigger saves, I think, down the stretch, I think sort of motivates and sort of turns the momentum a little bit for a team, especially when you're playing in that environment on the road. And so to sort of close out that game or that first half, I think 1-0, I think, is a little bit of a plus side, I think, for a
I
team like
agree.
Gotham. And you saw how that they kind of manifested that energy or, towards a little bit of different play. And we saw them earn the penalty kick, and you said Purse converted, and then this ridiculous banger from Lynn Williams. Welcome back. We missed
Oof.
watching Lynn Williams goals. Yeah, but I think you just saw a Gotham team just kind of settle themselves into the game
Yep.
eventually, and they just maintained enough composure to sort of get them through it. And not only that, just convert when they needed to convert.
Yeah, and barely at the end, because
Yeah.
Angel City continued knocking on the door, creating opportunities. I think Katie Johnson, an incredible offseason
Mhm.
acquisition for Angel City. She contributed a
Yeah.
lot in the attacking end for this team. And I was a little nervous for Gotham at the end there. I was like, guys, hold on.
They're
There's
knocking.
10 minutes left in this game, and,
Yeah.
and you're giving up chances, you're giving up significant shots to a very dangerous Angel City side. You're making Abby Smith in goal make a lot of saves, but they're able to
Mhm.
close it out. It ends up being the first and only away win for any team in opening weekend of the NWSL. Gotham side traveling cross country to LA, and they pick up the win. And also, Sandra, this was Gotham's first win
We
in
gotta
the
celebrate it.
NWSL
We
since
gotta celebrate it.
July 8th, 2022.
Look, celebrate it. I wanna see the yours in the chat. Hit me with the yours in the chat if you're happy for Gotham getting the win finally. You could see the energy on the sideline, what it meant to the team to pick up that type of definitely a good way to want to start off your regular season. We're looking across these games. And we had said in a lot of the previews for these matches that these opening weekend games they might have those, the feeling of preseason still, as players are still sort of getting into form. And we saw that a lot over the weekend. We saw players maybe coming out after a certain amount of time, maybe not fully there at 90 minutes quite yet. So I think this was the game to sort of cap off the weekend. And we still saw that the continuity of that, players coming off at the 60-minute mark or a 70-minute mark. And then we're going to get to talk a little bit more about the other matches. I think that's where we're going to pivot right now. 3 points for Gotham. Unfortunately, Angel City, you know, no win this time, but you get to celebrate your rookie, smashing that excellent goal. I think there's wins.
Nothing like a
Even if
silver
you're not
lining.
getting even if you're not, I think in week one, even if you're not getting all 3 points, I think there are some things that you could take into consideration as small victories within the pitch. So I think that's what they're going to take a look at. But let's stay in the West Coast. San Diego Wave versus Chicago Red Stars. This one had all the goals, and I don't know if we anticipated that it was going to end up in a 5-goal scoreline, but it did. San Diego Wave taking all 3 points in this one, 3-2 over the Chicago Red Stars. Goals by Nagasato, Ali, Shaw, Swanson, and Morgan, the 2 United States women's national team forwards, converting on penalty kicks, actually, in this one. 2 penalties in this game. Tough. I mean, you want to talk about the picks that we made, right? You went San Diego. Of course, I went Chicago. It's week one. Got to start off on the right foot. But I think, again, a little bit of that chaos that we see sometimes in these early weeks where you're looking at some strong play from a team, but that's not necessarily the teams that comes away with the points and ends up going to the home side in this one in San Diego Wave.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point. You talk about the strong team in this one. When you looked at the lineup that Chris Petroselli put out for the Red Stars, you were like, all right, this is an A+ team. I mean, across the board this weekend, we saw rookies everywhere popping up, getting starts, getting significant minutes in matches. And when you look at Chicago, who they had starting, Penelope Hawking in that front line, that was massive. They had Casey Kruger, Tierna Davidson in the back line, Erin Wright, who came back at the end of last year. These were big pieces that I know Chicago fans were so happy to see back on the pitch, especially a Kruger and a Davidson. Davidson coming back from her ACL injury, and we hadn't seen her yet. She got called into the U.S. camp, but it was training only. We hadn't seen her get game minutes, and this was a massive opportunity, but it was a quick start for Chicago, putting a lot of pressure on San Diego. There's chaos in the box, and that's how the opening goal comes to be. Of course, it's Yuki Nagasato falling and getting on the end of this one. It warms my heart to see the celebrations from these players because it has been such a long off season without celebrations. So that's how it all gets started. But then honestly, San Diego, the response from San Diego is immediate. The Nagasato goal coming in the 18th minute, and in the 22nd minute, San Diego levels things up on a mistake from Alyssa Nair. I'm going to call a spade here. She was frustrated with how this played out. I think fans were, the defense was, and Amira Ali capitalizes on a parry and a bad attempted save from Alyssa Nair and equalizes.
Something to note, I think we're obviously not going in super chronological order here of the games. We're talking with the Angel City game that just finished against Gotham, and then now we're pivoting back to Saturday with San Diego and Chicago. And I think even though we're sort of jumping around a little bit, we find those common threads. And I think with this game on Saturday, something similar. We saw Casey Kruger make her exit out of this game after a pretty scary collision. I believe it was with McNabb. So we're talking about 10 minutes into the game, right? You're already sort of hitting that reset button again. And I'm talking for both these teams because they both came out and they were kind of amped. You could sort of tell like San Diego was clearly motivated by that fantastic crowd, right? 30K plus in the stands for their home opener on opening weekend. And then you've got like a game that has to like kind of settle for a second very early on in the opening 10 minutes. And then we sort of saw the kind of fouls that you see as two teams are just kind of amped up on that energy and they're just kind of in go, 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 go mode. And it just sort of felt, I think that was one of my reactions that I tweeted out. And I just sort of felt, I was like, you know what, we keep kind of getting these moments and these fouls and these stoppages of play and injury time. And it just sort of feels like it's going to make it a much longer night than maybe it should. So it wasn't too surprising for me, honestly, to sort of see Chicago get on the board and then San Diego go ahead and respond right back. Or I wouldn't have been surprised if it was vice versa. If San Diego got on the board first and then Chicago responded. It just sort of felt like that was going to be the type of energy coming out of this game. And it sort of just really felt that way from minute one all the way through stoppage time.
And it was because we had 4 goals in the first half. Now, there was a chunk of stoppage time added on, and that's where Chicago was able to level things up after San Diego went back-to-back goals within 10-minute span of each other. Amira Ali and then the young buck Jaden Shaw ripping a shot at the top of the box and finding the corners. I mean, incredible for Jaden Shaw and the celebrations there for that young player. And then Mallory.
Love to see the return of the surf celebration.
Oh, thank gosh. Thank gosh it's back. But then we get to see Mallory Swanson line up at the spot, bury a penalty kick. Not the way I wanted Mallory Swanson to get a goal this game. I'm going to be honest. I wanted a run of play goal from Swanson, but we still get one. We still get a goal, but it comes from the penalty kick spot. And so now it's 2-2 at halftime. 4 goals in that first half. I was like, mental recheck. What happened? What time is it? Okay, let's go. Because this was the late night game on Saturday night.
It absolutely, that was the NWSL after dark energy I think that folks were looking for and ultimately received. I think 4 goals in your first half, the first 45 there, I think only sets up more drama or the possibility of more drama in the second half. And while maybe sort of, the energy of go, 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 kind of you sort of feel the legs at a certain point in a game like that. Maybe there were some brief lulls. We saw Chicago, unfortunately, we saw them kind of struggle with this last year. Their set piece defending, not super reliable. There was a lot of footage on them in those moments, and tough to see this game come down to such a late stage scenario in which you've got a veteran player like Aaron Wright going up against another veteran player and Alex Morgan, and unfortunately handball was the foul in the 89th minute. And then Morgan, same thing for me. I wanted to see Morgan get a goal and run a play, and it was almost a little bit of deja vu. It's like, where San Diego is sort of repeating the recipe from last year. It's like, make sure you draw those penalties, and Alex Morgan is going to slot those away.
Yeah, this was a drawn penalty, right? Alex Morgan was like, I'm going to force the Chicago defenders into a sticky situation here, because that's how it looked, and it worked.
It's game. It's fair to me. If it's game, go ahead.
I agree. Yeah.
It's like, if you're the defender, or a fan of that team, you hate to see it, but
a handball is a handball in the box, and that it exactly was. Now, if Alex Morgan shot at her hand, that's her prerogative. She's allowed to do that. And then she just steps up and buries it. And this one coming at the final minute or so of the game. And I mean, honestly, the whole second half, I was like, this could end in a draw. This really could. The way both teams were attacking. We saw Kaylin Sheridan come up with some really big saves, and the back line for San Diego, Germa and Real coming up with big stops, and Chicago likewise, their defensive end was doing that as well. But ultimately, it's another penalty kick too in this West Coast late NWSL after dark matchup, and Alex Morgan sealing the deal at the end of it all.
All 3 points for the Wave. I think again, both these games that we just recapped, I think that's sort of the energy. It's like, the 3 points are going the opposite direction, I think. But if you're LA or if you're Chicago, there are things within that opening match that you're going to look at as improvements, I think, from your season prior, or for your rookies, especially. I mean, Alyssa Thompson scoring that goal. I think you're looking at Penelope Hawking putting in a shift alongside. Sure. Is a huge plus.
You're also looking at someone for Chicago like a Tierna Davidson giving 84 minutes of a game,
getting back into form and looking really good in that at times.
I was impressed we got 84 minutes out of Tierna Davidson. I was expecting like 60. honestly.
You wonder how that's going to look when you have somebody like Casey Kruger going out so quickly. But
That's
Serena
true.
Davis
That's
is just
true.
reminding everyone,
That's
like, hey,
true.
I've returned. This is who I am, and this is what I can provide. So again, silver linings, I think, for week one, right? It's too early to sort of say like this is going to have huge implications down the stretch.